My history on the maritime boundary in Nigeria is extensive. Chairing the Presidential Committee on the Extended Continental Shelf is just one bit of it. As a career diplomat, way back I started addressing or participating in the issues of maritime boundary or Nigerian boundaries way back in 1989. And since then, up to date, I have been involved in one of the projects or the other. Chairing the Extended Continental Shelf, Presidential Committee on the Extended Shelf, for me is an honor and privilege to once again serve my country. Because my disposition as a Nigerian, as somebody that has been in the diplomatic field, is to serve your country. In whatever capacity you are called to serve your country, you should come and serve the country. So this chairing this committee, I think for me is an honor and privilege to once again serve this country the best way I can. Now, under the committee, Nigeria has an historic opportunity to extend our maritime boundary beyond the 200 nautical miles. We've been able to get 16,500, as we said, given to us by the United Nations Committee on the Law of the Sea. Now, if what led the president, when we briefed him, he approved, we've accepted what they have given us, but still, Nigeria has the opportunity to claim more maritime boundary territory. So the committee now is to work hard, present Nigeria's additional claims, defend it, and hopefully, we hope to achieve that objective and get additional maritime territory for Nigeria. Hopefully we can get 3 times what we have gotten now, or we wait and see. We still have another maybe 3 points to claim extended continental shelf. So for me, it's a continuation of the job that we've started. For Nigerians to know, perhaps Nigeria is one of the few countries in the world that have addressed maritime boundary problems. We have had a negotiated maritime boundary settlement with Equatorial Guinea. We went to the ICJ with Cameroon under the Bakassi issue. We've settled that one. We've negotiated with Benin Republic. We've settled that one. And now we are achieving extended continental shelf. In Sao Tome, we had a joint development zone, which is a temporary arrangement. Eventually, we have to agree on a boundary between Nigeria and Sao Tome. So effectively, we have managed our maritime boundary as a country positively. We are looking forward to concluding this last bit of the assignment, which is to ask for additional area on our extended continental shelf, which the committee is working hard to ensure that we achieve that objective. If in terms of practical achievements, I think I have worked hard to achieve a lot for Nigeria, defending her own maritime boundary claims and getting additional maritime boundary territory for Nigeria. But other areas, Nigeria as a regional power has played key role in addressing many serious regional and global issues. For me, I participated in some of them. For example, in the ECOWAS sub-region, Nigeria effectively participated in ensuring security in our own backyard and ensuring that democracy flourishes. When I was serving as a diplomat and in government, I'm no longer in government, I've retired. Nigeria worked hard to ensure that there is democracy in West Africa, there are development, and there are the securities issues are addressed. You can remember the history of the ECOMOC. I was then a desk officer in West Africa when the whole crisis started. I participated effectively in that. When growing up, when I became a senior diplomat, effectively I was working with the president. Nigeria handled effectively the crisis in Cote d'Ivoire, which led to election in Cote d'Ivoire and that the democracy was installed when President Gbagbo was reneging on the election that happened there. There were coups in Guinea-Bissau, Nigeria stepped in and addressed it, had a transition and there was election. There was coup in Mali, Nigeria stepped in and addressed it. There was coup in Niger, Nigeria stepped in and I was involved in all these issues. So I can say defining moment or what I think I have contributed in whatever position I found myself as a diplomat. I think I did my best to ensure that Nigeria played the key role that Nigeria is supposed to play and the role that Nigeria, God has chosen Nigeria to play, because many people don't understand the importance of Nigeria and the burden of responsibility God Almighty has placed on Nigeria to play a key role regionally, continentally and globally, because it is not by accident that God has made the majority of the black people are in Nigeria. It's not by accident that we are the biggest country in Africa. It's not by accident that we are the biggest country in West Africa. So this burden of responsibility that the Almighty God has placed on Nigeria, I think every Nigerian, since we are celebrating our independence in the next few days, should re-examine himself and herself that look, God has placed a burden of responsibility on us to behave responsibly internally in Nigeria, to do the correct thing so that our country will know peace, our country will know development, and we will be our brothers' keepers. The disunity in Nigeria at the moment, we've never had that kind of disunity. Everybody is just on edge. So it is time for us to say, okay, God has placed a burden of responsibility for us to play a role in the world globally. Now, to do that role, our domestic policy, our domestic actions will affect our international behavior, will affect our even individual behavior, so that every Nigerian, small, young, old, those in government, those out of government, should rethink and say that we need to do the correct thing in whatever position we are. So that has been my guiding principle. In whatever position you give me, I want to do the correct thing so that I will be judged correctly by the human beings and, of course, by the Almighty. So this should be our guiding principle. I think Nigerian leaders at all, as I said, at all levels, we should be honest with ourselves. When we were born and when we were young, in our various domestic houses or various primary schools, secondary school, we have always been taught to do the correct thing, to be honest. I think the current crop of politicians or leaders we have in Nigeria are not honest enough to be honest with themselves, be honest with the society, and be honest with the role they have claimed to be. You can campaign, you can politics, but once you get into the job of doing the job, for God's sake, do the job properly without interest. And that is the problem we have. What we have currently, why Nigeria is struggling, is that we have serious conflict of interest from those running the country. Conflict of interest in terms of their business interests, their political interests, and even political interests. I can give example with President Jonathan. When he lost election, he stepped aside. He said his own ambition is not worth a blood of Nigeria. But after that, what have we got in the last 10 years? There are things that ought not to have been done the way they have been done. And they have been done because purely on political basis. So politicians and leaders in Nigeria should understand, once you win election, you are on the seat. The responsibility to run the country and give every Nigerian, whether he is in your party or not your party, he has a right that you have to give to him. That ought to be taken seriously by every leader at whatever level you find yourself. That should be serious, because that is lacking. That is why there is so much rift and there is so much conflict in the society. Rebranding Nigeria initiative has done a good job, because these are young men who came together without anybody probing about that they want to contribute to change the narrative. As the name says, rebranding Nigeria initiative, because Nigeria is most cases misunderstood by Nigerians and even especially foreigners. Nigeria is stereotyped like a country that is always not doing the correct thing. Now, they came together to say, okay, let's rebrand Nigeria so that Nigeria will do the correct thing, as I earlier mentioned, to do the correct thing, and then encourage the young people to do the correct thing. Now, every country depends on their youth to grow. The youth are the people that drive the country to achieve a lot of things. People of my generation, we have done our role. It's only we can mentor and guide people from our own experiences so that they don't commit the same mistakes. But the young people came together. They launched their organization. They are in the rural areas. They are teaching IT to young people, and then they are going to areas where people are disadvantaged or have problems to give them assistance in terms of welfare, in terms of being inclusive in whatever they are doing. So the initiative is trying. They need to expand. Individuals in the society need to assist this group to expand their activities so that they will achieve the objective they've set themselves, to rebrand Nigeria and Nigeria to be a better place. Young Nigerians should understand that Nigeria offers you a lot of opportunities. In spite of all the hiccups, in spite of all the things people say about Nigeria, Nigeria offers not only young people, anybody, an investor or anybody, Nigeria offers you the opportunity. In spite of our own seeming problems, security challenges, economic challenges, Nigeria perhaps is the only country where you invest and you get more than 25%, 30% investment returns. So for young Nigerians, Nigeria is so brown, they are green, and there's everything. There is an ample opportunity for Nigerians to succeed. For example, if you take the entertainment field across the globe, now it's Nigeria's entertainers that are reigning. You take football, you go to Europe, I think apart from Brazil, Nigeria has the highest number of professional footballers in the world. So the youth, they have a role to play. It's their own time, it's their own country. Don't wait for it telling that your old people will give you opportunity. No, you have to fight for it, you have to look for it. You have to go there and demand for it. The country, it is yours, so you should demand what is yours. So they can align with this initiative to rebrand and change Nigeria and play a positive role that they are supposed to play. Don't be laid back. The country belongs to you. You said young. I think the population of the young Nigerians is almost maybe more than 60% of the country. So what are they waiting for? It's their own country, it's their own time. Play it. I was heading the embassy as an ambassador at the age of 40. I retired. Effectively, I came back to Nigeria at the age of 40 after heading the Nigerian embassy in Equatorial Guinea for 5 years. And I never went back for a diplomatic posting, but I was still playing a diplomatic role at a higher level and playing my own role. Today, we have Nigerians that have graduated and they are 40 years old, they are still looking for a job. It's an indictment of my generation, and it's a situation that is unacceptable. So when people are, that's why this initiative is very good, encouraging Nigerians to have that hope. It will give the youth hope that all is not lost, that we should do our best to see that we change these narratives. When people question the youth that they are not patriotic, they are not this, I said, well, for our generation, the government paid for me from primary school to university. The younger generations, they don't have that kind of affinity or that of relationship with the government or the governed. From the local government level to the federal level, I can tell you in my career, in my life, what each of these sectors of local government, state government, and federal government have done for me. Today is not the case. So something is lacking. So consciously, the government from the local government, state government, and federal government should be conscious to see that the youth identify with the government, identify with the society, and that they will identify what the governments have done for them so that they can do for the country. If the country have not done anything for you, it's difficult for you to say you want to give back to the country. That's why people like us, there is nothing we cannot do to give back to this country, because this country has made us what we are. As far as Nigeria is concerned, the only thing that we are united on is sports, football and sports. If Nigeria's team does very well in international competition, you will not say, okay, the guy that scored the goal is an Igbo man or a Yoruba man. You celebrate because a Nigerian that has scored goals. So sports has been a unifying factor in this country. When I was growing up, we used to have competition at local government level, regional level, state level, and national level. These things have died down. It's no longer as it used to be. It's there, but it's not as it used to be when I was young. So these things ought to be revived. It will bring up national unity. It will bring in national cohesion. I think the greatest problem we have, people say, oh, the greatest problem we have in Nigeria is security, economy. No. I think the greatest problem we have in Nigeria is national unity and cohesion. Every sector is pulling in different directions. If we are able to address the national unity and cohesion and decide that as Nigeria we are moving in one direction, the issue of security, economy, and any other problem will be addressed in a jiffy. It will be addressed. So this is the major problem, I think, in my own experience and seeing how we go about doing our things. The critical issue we have is this issue of national unity and cohesion. Once we have that, the whole Nigerian society wants to pull in one direction, not looking at this man is an Igbo man, this is a Yoruba man, this is a Hausa man, this is a Fulani, this is Shakiri. No, we are all Nigerians. We are pulling in one direction. We will address this problem. Have traveled wide across the globe. When you meet Nigerians abroad, yes, some of them are doing well there, but deep inside them, they are not happy. They would rather be here. So what message I'm telling the youth and the government is that whatever it takes, I think we should say enough is enough. Please, let's fix our country and let those Nigerians that are abroad, let them come back. The Vice President has just finished speaking at the United Nations talking about migration that has to be addressed. Yes, it's becoming a problem across the globe, and increasingly Nigerians are being tagged like we are not wanted in many places. So that should make us sit down and say, okay, enough is enough. Whatever it takes, we'll fix this country, and let everybody feel that yes, this country belongs to us and we have to fix it. I think this is the message I'm giving. For those in government, for those outside government, for the young generation especially, we now have to think out of the box to fix Nigeria and let everybody come back here and work hard for us to fix Nigeria and let everybody do the correct thing. And if anybody, either in or out of government, is not doing the correct, we should hold him or her accountable. You give somebody budget, you give him a government, he's not spending the money, hold him accountable because it's your country. A local government chairman is not doing the correct thing, he has been given some funds, hold him accountable. A state governor is not doing the correct thing, he has been given some funds, hold him accountable, let him account. A president is not doing anything as to what he is supposed to do, people should rise and hold them accountable. Once there is that accountability, and their trust between the government and the governed is restored, then we'll have that hope and we'll have that energy and we'll have that drive to change things to change the narrative and change things for the better. And nobody can do it better than the younger generation. It's their own country, as I said earlier on. They should sit up and contribute their own quota towards changing these things. You see, why did they leave first in the first instance? They left, or they are leaving, because they have to fend for their families. They have to feed. They don't have jobs. There are no jobs for them. In Nigeria today, you graduate maybe almost, I don't know the number now, maybe close to 1 million. But you don't provide jobs for more than 150,000 people. So they have to look for jobs. They have to look for survival. If the condition in Nigeria is okay, with all the underlying resources we have, with all the advantages we have as a country, Nigerians will want to leave. They wouldn't want to leave, but they are leaving because of the unavailability of jobs and means of sustenance. Once you fix that, they will come back. So what the rebranding Nigeria, what we'll do is not only rebranding, they can only be advocates for them. Now, you said they should come and invest. Nigeria and diaspora should come and invest. Yes, they can come and invest in Nigeria, but what guarantees do they have that their investment will not be wasted? Yes, if anybody should invest, it's a Nigerian that's in the diaspora that has money that can come and invest, yeah. Or Nigerians internally that are investing. But what guarantee do they have? That is the issue. So what the rebranding Nigeria can do, they can only be an advocate, and then in terms of publicity, in terms of giving them literature, yes, they can help. But the reality is, if you want Nigeria in the diaspora to come back and invest in Nigeria, or to come back to Nigeria, work and change the conditions in Nigeria, in terms of creating jobs, in terms of security, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of being your brother's keeper, as I earlier said, the national unity and cohesion. Take in the medical field. When we met with President Obama in 2010, I think, he told us that if Nigerian doctors withdraw from New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Texas, the medical system there will collapse. That is way back in 2010, 2011. It's almost 12 years now. More doctors have gone out of Nigeria. More doctors have gone out of Nigeria. So it's a real problem for us. So we, as a nation, as I said, we have to say, look, enough is enough. We have to fix our country. There is no two, we have no other country than this country. So we have to think on how we should fix this country. Whether you are in politics, you are in government, or you are out of government, it's no longer a government affair, it's everybody's affair. We have to find out how do we address the various multifarious problems that we have as a country, so that everybody is Japa. In my own time, Japa syndrome, we used to call it Andrew syndrome. Yes, there was a big advert in the Nigerian television. Andrew said, I'm tired of Nigeria, I'm checking out. Andrew is checking out. That is around 1980, early 80s, mid 80s. So it is Andrew syndrome. They will say, I'm going to Andrew on Nigeria. So now it's Japa syndrome. So it has been there. So we have Andrew syndrome in the 80s. Now we have Japa syndrome. And then in the next 10, 20 years, we will have another syndrome. For God's sake, when will we stop? When will it stop? It ought to stop. We should have a sense of national pride to say, look, enough is enough. Let's fix our country. It's no longer I'm going into politics because I want to earn money. I want to get rich. No. Go into politics to contribute and fix this country. People of my generation, people that are of my disposition, we feel cheated because we've worked for this country. And I dare say to somebody of my generation, I know what I have done for this country. So people should come out. Yes, it's difficult, but we should possess our country and do the correct thing. And it's not difficult to do the correct thing in whatever position you find yourself. Honestly, I swear to God, it's not difficult to do the correct thing. It's when you want to do the wrong thing that you run into trouble. And you know the God that created us, He doesn't use what you said or what, no. He knows what is in your heart. If inside you have intention to do good, I swear to God, he will help you to do the good. If you have intention to come and cheat, get money here, so change the Nigerian society this way, that's why you run into problem. And at the end of it, you run into problems. See, people in government that are out of government today, where are they? We have many ex that are still struggling. And when they are in government, they think, okay, amassing wealth will save me. It will not save you. What will save you is to do the correct thing. When you are in government, do the correct thing. Whatever it takes, do the correct thing. And you know what the correct thing is. Nigeria of my dream. Well, it's a Nigeria that is very united and everybody should be everybody's keeper. Brothers, people working together, people being happy. You can travel like when I used to drive from Lagos to Kaduna in the night without any fear. And it's not long ago, 1990s. The last time I drove from Lagos to Kaduna alone was I think 1991 or 1992, not long ago. Now, even driving from here to Kaduna, I feel one kind. I used to drive 1 a.m. from Abuja to Kaduna alone, without thinking. So the Nigeria of my dream is a Nigeria that is unified, united, strong, virile country, a country that plays its role locally and internationally, that is dependable as we used to be, because Nigeria had been a dependable country to our allies, our friends across the world. Since the day of India, you can imagine, 6 days after independence, Nigeria deployed troops to Congo. 6 days, not 6 years, 6 days after independence, Nigeria deployed troops to Congo to go and keep peace. So this is the Nigeria of my dream, a Nigeria that can play a positive role to be our brothers keepers, not only in Nigeria, but in the West African subcontinent, in Africa and globally, to play that role that God has destined us to play as the largest black country in the world. And that you see everybody in any part of the country, from Maiduguri to Ekot Ekpene, from Sokoto to Ekremo, that they are all together, they are united. No stereotyping, oh, this man is an Igbo man, don't mind this man. No. This is the Nigeria of my dream. Let's be our brothers keepers. Let's be united. Let's be positive, and let's contribute positively to the betterment of everybody, both locally and internationally. This is Nigeria of my dream. So, and this is what the youth should aspire to develop. Yeah. The Unveiling and Rebranding Nigeria initiative, I think they have done well so far. They should continue along the trajectory that they have been doing, and that they should go further than just advocacy and try to mobilize the youth across the country to join their initiative and contribute their own quota towards achieving the objective of the organization, because it's a non-governmental organization that wants to rebrand Nigeria. And everybody, if Nigeria is branded in the positive mold, is for the betterment of everybody in Nigeria, both Nigerians here and the Nigerians in the diaspora. So I encourage them to go all out and try to achieve the objective they have set up for the organization. And those of us that are with them will try to encourage them and try to assist them achieve that objective.